Good morning. I hope everybody is doing well and having a fantastic morning. I had an absolutely fantastic morning. I'm lucky enough that I got to go out to breakfast this morning. My boyfriend woke up super early because he had something to do. And I said, why are you waking me up? I don't want to wake up this early. And he said, let's go to breakfast. And I was like, I don't want to go to breakfast. But we ended up going to breakfast, and it was actually really awesome. And I'm grateful that he makes me do that kind of stuff. Because I would never do that on my own. I would never wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the morning and get up and go to breakfast, on a weekday. So,
10 o'clock.
oh, there we go. There's the time. So this morning we're going to be talking about the pain body and the astral body, the energy body. So what would it be like for you to have a life where you feel balance and peace? Can you imagine having a life where everything is in balance? Your work life, your home life, your relationships are all in peace and everything is in balance. I know that personally I've been working towards that, my whole life long. I was lucky enough, good morning. I was lucky enough to start my life off pretty traumatic. And I tease and I say I started in New York and I'm heading over to California. And, I've made it most of the way. And probably when I get to California, I'll be like, you know what, I want to go to Alaska. But that's how life is, right? It's, we know what we want. And then when we get what we want, we have new goals and we head for those. But this talk is going to be for people who have pain in their body. This talk is for people who are looking for more peace and more balance in their life. I get a little bug visiting me this morning. Is it worth it to you to have the life that you want? Like, what would it take to get the life that you want? It's kind of a big question for, early in the morning. It's not that early, but for those of us who like to sleep, it is. Is your happiness worth working for? How often are you checking in with how happy you are? Do you believe that you can have happiness? Do you believe that you can have a life of balance? Good morning. I'm so glad you're here with me. You can keep me in check. So I have created this little theory. I call it the 10 buckets, the work-life balance buckets. And I've created a survey and it's on my website. It's not quite ready yet, so I'm not sharing it yet. But if you would like to fill it out for me, that would be amazing, because I'm a researcher at heart. For those of you, a lot of you know that a couple years ago, I was interviewing men because I was learning these wonderful things about men and I didn't believe it. So I said, well, I'm going to do research and find out for myself. And I actually ended up talking to these a lot of really wonderful, all men are wonderful if you let them be. So I love to do research. And so my next research that I'm going to be doing is work-life balance. And I actually have it all organized on my website, and people can take the survey and answer, like, what does your work-life balance look like? What would you like to have more of? What's working, what's not working, so that we can share with everybody else and, create maybe some systems or some theories so that we can, support each other. So today I'm going to be talking about the bucket number 1. So the buckets for me, this is a theory that I came up with probably like 20 years ago, and I've been looking at it for a long time. I'm an analyzer. I like looking at theories. Good morning. And so this is a theory I've been working on for a while, and you may not know, like, okay, well, Heather, why are you a valid source to be able to come up with some psychological theory? So for those of you who don't know, I've been a body worker for 20 years, and I also have my master's in mental health, and actually studied marriage and family, but instead of getting my master's in marriage family, I got married and had a family. And I always tease. So I took a little bit of time off, and then when I went back, I finished by getting my master's. But all of my coursework is, oh, was that a sad face? No, it's not sad. It's a good thing, because I finished. I got my master's. But all my coursework was in marriage and family. So I like looking at systems. I like looking at how things work together, how this one influences this one. We work together. We twist and turn together. So, I've been doing inner child work and hypnosis for a few years now. I'm doing craniosacral therapy, so people are having emotional releases on the table. I've been studying psychology since 1998. That's 20 years. And so I actually came up with the bucket theory like a good 18 years ago, and so I've been putting that sort of into practice. So the body-mind piece of the bucket theory is the base. So we're starting with, because a lot of us, we know that our lives are kind of miserable, but we don't know why, and we don't know what to do about it. And very, very, very many of us have learned how to block our energy flow. We've learned how to, so the body has this wonderful system. It's an energy system. In India, they call it prana. In China, they call it chi. Here we just call it energy. You may have heard of Reiki. That's working with the astral body, the energy body. And all of us have one. Just like we all have a heart and we all have blood and we have lungs and we breathe. And what happens in the astral body is that, usually it's this nice flowing thing. And, it's like flowing here, it's flowing here. There's all these little spots that it's flowing. And what happens is when we have traumas or something, we actually block off the flow. So, when you're at 100% open energy, your astral body is open and you haven't caused any blockages or shutdowns or squeezed offness, you actually feel really, really good. And this is for me, this is the basis of work-life balance. Like if you want balance in your life, we're looking at, how do I get my astral body flowing again? Because somehow I've shut it down. So a lot of us shut things down, we squeeze things down, and we don't realize that we've shut our astral body off. We don't even have a clue about it because we're not talking about this stuff. Now, if you broke your foot or you broke your wrist or something, if I broke my wrist, I wouldn't say, hey, you know what? I broke my wrist. Too bad for me. I am going to, I need you to write for me for the rest of my life. Like we wouldn't do that. We would say, oh crap, I broke my wrist. I need to go to the doctor and I need to get my wrist fixed. I need surgery, I need a cast, and I need rehabilitation and physical therapy. Like we all know this. But when you shut down your energy, let's say you shut down your heart energy or you shut down your throat energy. Good morning to everyone who's joining. I'm so glad you're here. When you shut down these different energy systems, it's like breaking your wrist. But we don't go and get it fixed. But what we do, and so what does happen is you end up with pain in your body. So the same way that if you broke your wrist, you would have pain in your body, you'd go to the doctor, you get it fixed. If you end up losing a lover or a partner or a parent or a child, God forbid, your heart might shut down. And you literally squeeze and the energy becomes restricted. So the energy is like water, it flows. And when the energy becomes restricted, it gets blocked like a dam. So maybe on one side it's flooding and maybe on the other side it's completely empty or dry. And those of us who do body work can feel all of this stuff. And you can feel it also. You just probably haven't practiced enough to learn how to. But the way that you can find out where you're blocked is feel your pain body. Where are you carrying pain in your body? Do you have pain in your body? Most of us have little tweaky things here or there. So here's another idea. So I like to say dis-ease instead of disease, right? So you got cancer. You could even have like the common cold, allergies, asthma, whatever. As a body worker, I actually know that 85% or so of that pain that you're having can be released through trigger point work. It's actually the body holding in some way. And you just can have somebody else come in and literally push on that spot and it can reset and release. It's really amazing. And when that spot forms with emotional energy, and emotion, as those of us who know this, or those of you who've been following me or working with me for years, we're looking at, what I was going to say, I hate when that happens. So as a trigger point therapist, we're coming in and we're pushing on this spot that the body has contracted. sometimes there's, oh, and that's what I was going to say. So the emotion is actually how we're creating in the world, right? As my friend Joseph Jacobs tells me all the time, we're not creating with our minds. We're creating with our heart energy. We're creating with our emotional energy. There's a vibration to emotion. So that, let's say there's this vibration to emotion, and then some kind of injury or trauma happens, whether that's I fall on my butt, I break my wrist, I break my foot, or somebody that I love dies, there's an emotional trauma that's part of that. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining us. So if you broke your wrist, you go to the doctor, but a lot of us don't think, oh, I have this little neck pain, whatever, maybe tomorrow it will be gone. And sometimes, yeah, maybe tomorrow it will be gone, but also maybe it's like your throat chakra has shut down, or some energy body is being closed down, and you can actually learn to work with your own energy system to open yourself up and not have pain. That's actually the best, in my opinion, that's the best thing to do. But we don't talk about it in our culture. It's a weird thing, it's weird. And so that's why it's good to see somebody who knows how to do this, so that they can teach you how to do that kind of stuff, so that you can open up all those energy systems. And I personally believe, it's been years, like I was saying, I'm traveling from New York to California, like moving across the country here, not really, like energetically, like in my life journey, so to speak. And as I go, there's people along the way who are supporting me in this life journey. And I find personally, I can do the work at home, but it's never, never, never as effective as when I do it with another healer or a coach or somebody else who's helping me out. So that is the body mind piece. Okay, so what's body mind therapy? Okay, so there's craniosacral therapy. I have kind of come up with my own therapy from years and years of touching people, releasing trigger points, realizing that there's this emotional pain that's part of the trigger point. There's actually whole entire, so like, I'll give you an example of my body. I really like to sit like with this knee up, and this, like, I twist like this. Okay, so as I've been doing my own personal work, my own personal journey, what I'm finding is there's a lot of heart restriction and some gut stuff. So the gut stuff is like not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough. And this heart stuff is about not being loved. And so what I've done is I've actually caused my body to do this fascial twist. So my body's like really comfortable. And then look how protective that position is. And also how small, right? So I bring myself really small, and I come into this little tiny protective stance. And so that's what happens in our bodies. Your body will literally form to your physical fleshy body will literally form to what's happening in your astral body, and what's happening in your mental body, and what's happening in your emotional body. Is this making sense? Are you guys with me? Like, everything I'm saying is making sense so far? So the way that we can learn how to undo some of this is to listen to the language that we're using. So sometimes people will say things like, oh, I have a broken heart, or oh, my heart's on fire, or oh, I feel like I'm suffocating, right? Have you guys ever said things like that? Oh God, he is such a pain in my ass, or you are a tight ass, right? Like, there's the language that we use around this. And so it's really, we're not as in denial as we make up that we are. We go around going like, I don't know why I have this pain. That guy is such a pain in my ass, and it's funny because we're telling ourselves all the time why we have the pain. Oh, and as I was saying earlier, so the disease, like having the cold or having cancer or whatever it is, it's what happens is, let's say, for instance, I shut my throat chakra down, and then you have laryngitis, and you come next to me, guess what I'm going to get? I'm going to get laryngitis because my throat chakra is shut down, and my body is literally saying, there's nothing here to prevent you from getting that laryngitis. You actually need the laryngitis to recognize that there's something going on in the throat chakra so that you can heal yourself. Like, the body's amazing. And that's my theory. I don't know if there's any doctors in the world that will back that up, but that's what I have found happens. And so, as you're opening and releasing this throat chakra, these people with like chronic laryngitis or whatever, these issues go away, when you actually heal yourself. But it is an investment. Like, It's a time, effort, energy, and money investment. And it's worth it. You can ask my former clients, anybody who's worked with me, and has stuck with it. It's amazing to see what can happen when you start clearing out all of this stuff. I even use hypnosis because the language is part of it, right? So it's like, I remember this trauma. Well, actually, a lot of times you don't remember the trauma. In hypnosis, you remember the trauma. And sometimes it's like so small, like, oh, my parents put me to bed and I was alone while they were all downstairs having a party, right? You wouldn't think that that's a trauma, but as like a little person, that could be really scary. It could be really lonely, could be really sad. You could make up like a bunch of shame. You could say, oh, I'm a bad person, that's why they left me alone. All kinds of things. So we go back to that time, and then we reprogram with the little tiny child. Actually reprograms the amygdala part of the brain so that you can release the blockages that's been caused where you believed that you were sad, or you believed that you were not good enough to spend time with the family, or whatever it is. Am I making sense? Are you guys getting what I'm saying? So, so you can literally read your body and find out what is going on inside of you. You can go into so there's two ways of doing it. You can go into your pain. You can go, oh God, I have all this neck pain. What is it, body? And talk to your body, and your body will be like, hey, you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Or like me, yesterday, I went and had some work done, and my feet have been killing me. And the therapist was so in tune, and she's like, so what's going on with this domain in your life? And I'm like, oh God, you had to ask about that one. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking all about it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's why my feet hurt. Like, I'm having trouble making a decision about moving forward. Well, that's what your feet do. They like take you forward. So my feet, my sweet little feet, have been expressing all of this pain to me to say, could you make a choice? Because like, you're stuck right now, and I can feel how you want to move. There's this momentum to move forward, but as long as you stay stuck, I'm going to hurt you. I am hurting. This is hurting me. Is that making sense for you guys? So there's two ways of doing it. You can either go, I have pain in my feet. I wonder what that's about. Hey, feet, what's that about? And you talk to your feet. Or you work with somebody, and as they're working on your feet, the feet just kind of start telling you, right? And that's the beauty of having two people working together. And I like to use the Ouija board as an example, even though everybody freaks out when I talk about the Ouija board, because I don't know, I think there's all this crazy stuff in our culture about Ouija boards, but I played with one when I was a kid, and here's the deal. It doesn't work if there aren't two of you. So like, I needed me, here's the little Ouija board thing. I put my hands on, it doesn't work if you don't put your hands on too. Like, you gotta have two people's hands on the little thing, and then it starts sliding around, and and I don't know what it is. Is it angels? Is it ghosts? Is it the collective consciousness? I don't know, but it taps into something cool. And the same thing happens when you get body work. So somebody puts their hand on you, and then you move and they move, and sometimes you don't know who's moving. I don't know if it's me moving or if it's you moving, but the body starts to move, and things start opening up, and energy starts flowing, and then answers start coming, and it's like, oh, I have this pain because blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden you're talking about why you have all this pain. So why did I choose this as bucket number one? Because most of us are in a lot of denial about all of this. Most of us are in a lot of denial about where our pain is, what our pain is, why we're carrying pain, why do we have pain. A lot of us are like, he's restricted and locked down a lot. And then we're trying to do life like this. We're trying to do life in a lockdown position. And then even though we know that we should go to the doctor if we break our wrist or if we break our foot, we don't know that we need to go to somebody when we're in like lockdown. And when you do go to somebody when you're locked down, everything opens up, then you're like, man, I should have done that a long time ago. And that's why I call it bucket number one, because it is the way, in my opinion, it is the way to come out of denial. Like, I have friends who've been going to AA and CODA and therapy for years. And your brain is a tricky little creature, and it'd be like blah 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 blah, and you can't get anywhere with your brain. I mean, I know I studied psychology, for God's sake. I have a master's in mental health. I sat with people in the little room and was like, blah, blah, blah. And until you really start working with that astral body, the physical body, the emotional body, not just the brain, healing doesn't happen. I mean, I can tell you that from working with people over the last 10 years in psychology and 20 years working with the body. The whole reason I went and got my master's in mental health and psychology is because I was working on the body and people were having all these emotional releases. And I was like, what do I do with this? I don't know what to do. I need training, you know, because when you touch the body, something happens. When two people touch each other, something magical happens. And when you let yourself be touched by somebody who is constantly practicing opening their energy, and they're seeing other healers and they're using other, you know what I'm saying? Like, as I open, then you open, I open, you open. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all doing this thing together. We can't do this thing called life together alone. And, you know, the craziest part, in my opinion, and no offense, I don't mean to call anybody crazy. I'm one of the crazies, but we think that we can do this thing called life alone and disconnected, which makes us even more unhappy. Then we sit at home and we let this crazy thing, this crazy brain go blah, blah, blah. You're no good. You blah, 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 blah. I mean, if you listen to the thoughts in your head, have you actually taken time to listen to the thoughts in your head? I mean, the thoughts in your head are like, oh, I wonder why the vacuum cleaner's out. I haven't put the vacuum cleaner away yet. Oh, you know what? I have this work that I should do. I should have done that. Oh, you know what? You should have done that work yesterday. I can't believe you didn't do that work yet. What did you do yesterday? Did you do anything yesterday? Right? Like, your brain it's like a runaway train. And if you're not paying attention to it, you can spiral down fast, or you can choose to spiral up. And my work in my life is spiraling up and teaching others how to spiral up. And there are times when I spiral down, and guess what? When that happens for me, I call my people. I call my people that I know are continuously working on spiraling up. And sometimes my spiraling up people are spiraling down, and that's not a good day to talk to them. You know, if we're both spiraling down, that's trouble. But, you know, when you work with people who are very conscientious of bringing their energy up and bringing their vibration up and opening that flow and getting the pain body to release, coming out of denial, getting connected with the source energy, getting connected with the flow and the beauty of the body, you know, magic happens in that space. Anyway, I know it does for me. So your body is literally a book that you can read. Like, you want to know why your life isn't working? Read your book. Your body will tell you, you know, where's the pain in the body? Where's the dis-ease in the body? You know, are you having asthma, allergies, like lung coughing issues? Okay, well, you've got a heart chakra issue. You know, are you having laryngitis and, you know, pain in the shoulders, pain in the neck? You got a throat chakra issue. Are you having sinusitis and headaches? Okay, well, you've got a third eye issue. Like, it can all be, you can find out where all of these pain patterns are coming from. And some of us get dis-ease young, you know, like sometimes babies and little kids get dis-ease, cancers and things like that. And my personal opinion of all of that is, you know, we all come here with a soul contract. And sometimes my suffering, my pain is to heal you. I mean, Mike and I see that all the time. You know, the man has had a history of shutting down emotionally. And I am such high vibration most of the time that he can't help but feel in my presence. And then when I spiral down, it's almost like, wait, what happened to that? And then he actually feels more. So part of my soul contract with him, you know, he was asking the universe, I want to learn how to feel. And then the universe gave him me. And so he gets to learn how to feel the highs and the lows, like a lot, all the time. And that's the gift, you know, that's the gift. So I think that sometimes our disease is part of our soul contract. And so you may have a life of throat chakra issues. maybe it's karma. But see, now we're getting into a whole other topic. Do we want to get into this whole other topic? You know, the whole topic of soul contracts is not part of the buckets. I mean, it is, but then we're talking about the top buckets, you know, when we start getting into purpose and, you know, why are we here, that kind of stuff. But just to create like baseline happiness and peace, you know, we get to resolve our issues in our emotional, energetic, physical, mental space. Because when you do that, then you are happy. Then you create happiness. Then you know how to create happiness. You know how to create peace. As long as you want to stay in denial and you want to keep hurting, you're going to keep hurting. You're going to keep suffering. And you know, how we release that is a whole other, you know, a whole other question and answer session, I suppose. I've got some questions. Best to not attempt to control everything. Hey, best to not attempt to control anything, right? Enlightenment is little more than no longer believing your thoughts. You got it. So, and what happens is, right? So what happens is we believe our thoughts and then they get lodged into our body and causes suffering, causes pain body. And so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at how have I lodged these thoughts into my body, my astral body, my energy body, my pain body, my physical body, my energetic body, my emotional body, my mental body. You know, how have I lodged some belief into me and how do I release it? And that's the work. And that's bucket number one. Like once we get that one handled, then we're moving up into the other buckets. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you guys being here with me. And we'll be doing more buckets for the next few Mondays. I am planning on starting the end of August, the beginning of September on Fridays. I'm going to be doing live talks, like physical live talks, so workshops. So if you're interested in coming and having interaction and dialogue and, you know, probably knowing me, I'll have worksheets and experiential exercises and things like that. So Fridays will be, there's actually a whole organized schedule, right? So like the second Fridays will be parenting, the third Fridays will be relationships, probably at night, and the fourth Fridays will be body-mind therapy type of workshops. And so I'm actually looking for other body-mind healers to partner with if somebody has a workshop space or even just a conference room or even just a lobby that I can be doing talks for the body-mind therapy. And then for the parenting, I'll probably just, I don't know, rent out like a big Dunkin' Donuts and people can come and we'll do some actual experiential work from the parenting class that I teach, which is so profound. I shake my head because it's like so life-changing, almost unbelievable how life-changing that stuff is. And then the relationship workshops I'll be doing at night, and I'll probably try to do them, you know, in different parts of town so that people from Miami can have a little time and people in West Palm Beach. So that's what it's looking like. If you'd like to join any of that, you know, you can private message me if you want to get on my list for that kind of thing, because I'm trying to get organized. I'm not very good at being organized, but luckily I have an amazing team who is very good at organizing me. So if you want to be part of that, if you want to know what's coming up next, you can private message me. You can email me at heatherhundhausen@gmail.com. And if you like this and you want to hear more about the other parenting buckets, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just Heather Hundhausen. So I will be seeing you guys soon. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope you spend some time listening to your body. If you are having pain in your body, please, please, please reach out and let me work with you, because you do not need to have that pain. I have a guy that I've been working with for a couple of weeks. He came in and he's like, I'm going to need double rotator cuff surgery. He was like convinced that he needed surgery. And he's playing basketball with his kids now. So he did not need surgery. He just needed a little tweak here and there. You know, we did a little bit of coaching stuff. We did a little bit of life choice stuff, add in a little exercise, change the diet a little. I did a lot of trigger point release. We did some energetic work. We did some emotional work. And he's got full mobility of the right shoulder and probably like 80% of the left, but we're not done yet. So, you know, it's just a reminder for me that you do not have to live in the pain body. You don't have to live there. You can have your free body back. And I think people do this thing where they think, oh, I just have a little bit of pain. It's not a lot of pain. I can live with a little bit of pain. No, don't live with a little bit of pain, because you know what happens with a little bit of pain? Then you start compensating and you get a little more pain, then you get a little more pain. Before you know it, your whole damn body hurts. And you're like, why didn't I do this 6 months ago? Then you come in and see me and I'm like, you know what? We're going to have to do a couple of weeks of treatment here, because this affected this and affected that and this and that. And we can't release all of that in an hour or two. You know, but if it starts hurting and you come in, we can release it in an hour and you're done. And then you can go live your life nice and free. And, you know, when you have freedom in your body, there's, you know, what else do you want? I mean, I don't know, personally, if there's freedom in my body, if I don't hurt, I can conquer the world. Not that I really want to conquer the world. Maybe with world peace, I want to conquer the world. So, anyhow, if you have friends who you know are suffering or in pain in some way or another, please share this video with them, or even just have them come and see me on my website, which is just heatherrundhausen.com. There's actually, you can just book right there. You can just book sessions to come in and see me. So I think that's everything. And I hope that you guys are all feeling amazing in your bodies. I hope that if you're not, you come and work with me or someone, and you know, I can definitely teach you how to release that consistently and consciously, so that you don't have to live in pain, so you can live nice and free and easy and with peace and balance. Did you know, this is interesting, did you know balance actually comes from how you feel internally? It has nothing to do with your schedule. I think most of my life, good morning, I think most of my life I thought that balance had to do something with my schedule. Does anybody else think that? Like, you know, if I take care of this and I check this off the list, then my life will be balanced. No, it's when I get into the present moment and I feel healthy and free and good inside of my body, heart, mind, spirit, and soul, I have balance. It doesn't matter if chaos is happening around me, I have balance. So it's interesting how our mind does this thing that's like, well, if I could organize this and I could check this off the list, and if I could do, the mind is your worst enemy. Don't listen to it. We want to get peace inside of ourselves, and that's what creates balance. So y'all, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you for being here with me. I'm so grateful that my message gets to land somewhere. I'm not just talking to myself. And you know, if this has been helpful, please share it. Let me know. When you let me know that you're enjoying this, it actually motivates me to keep doing it. You know, I'm doing this to be in service, and it's important to me to know that it matters to you. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week, and probably in between, because I like doing the Facebook Live. It's fun. I like connecting with you. And if we haven't connected personally in a while, reach out to me, because I'd love to chat. Okay, bye guys.